Knife show alive and well here in the Nutnfancy project. It's 2012. Perhaps time to consider the Kershaw Rake model 1780. Hello everybody, this is Nutnfancy. Year 4 of TMP, covering knives, flashlights, guns, other great stuff for your systems. Perhaps you heard me say earlier in some other videos, maybe it was a SHOT Show video with Kershaw, that I was really digging the model 1780, the Rake. Okay, as I've said before in some other videos, bad news is best delivered at the earliest possible occasion, and I'll do it right now. I do not dig the Rake, nor am I recommending it to you. Yep, I know there are tons and tons of Kershaw knives that I have reviewed and will review more that I do recommend and I absolutely love. Not every company can make every knife that you and I are going to like and see eye to eye on. There's the Rake. I have to turn the catalog sideways so it'll fit. I've probably sold Kershaw, I don't know, a bazillion knives with my reviews because I'm very enthusiastic on so many of their models. The Rake isn't one of them. Let's get to the specifics and I will tell you why. Philosophy of use, size, and weight. And I'm going to start off with weight, and there is the kicker right there. Oh no, Nutnfancy with a weight thing. Yeah, me with a weight thing, especially when I have a 3.5-inch blade with this short of a handle and it weighs 5.4 ounces. That's too heavy. I wouldn't say it's like killing me. Oh, you puss, carry it. I just carry other stuff, dudes. I don't want to carry it. In fact, I tried to carry the Rake for several weeks, and it was not enjoyable for me to carry. I was always thinking about it. By the way, the weight in this 2011 catalog is totally wrong. It says 4.8 ounces. Measured 5 times on my scale, I come up with 5.4 for this version of the 1780 Rake. By the way, I think the ones shipping in 2012 are no longer bead blasted. I think they are stone-washed, which is actually a much better blade finish myself. Philosophy of use. Not a tactical blade. Not by any stretch of the imagination, according to my way of thinking. The handle is too freaking tiny for this knife. It's a 5.5 ounce knife and the handle's too small. Now granted, I have large-sized hands, but the handle is just too abbreviated on this Tim Galan design. It's just too tiny. You know, with this weight, I want more real estate. Let's bring in, how about, I don't know, Kershaw trimmer. Now that's a 6-ounce knife, but look at the difference in handle sizes. Dudes, I mean, this knife I gave rave reviews on. My likability scale is off the charts, especially at its price. $26 for that knife? Yeah, it has 8CR13 MOV, but I like that steel. Takes a fine edge, it wears good, sharpens easy enough. This one's stone washed. Trimmer is just a beautiful knife. Organic curvature of the blade. It's a bigger blade and it's only slightly heavier than trimmer. This is a tactical blade, especially if you skateboard tape it like I did mine. Yes, it lacks campaign. I don't know. Tactical, no way on the Rake. I think there's other 3.5-inch blade, 3.5-inch sized folding knives that I've recommended for tactical POUs. I ain't doing it with this. The handle is a problem. And you got to get a good grasp on. So I would say it's an EDC blade. You know, everyday carry, you want a utility knife. Way to go. Collectible, as in that it gives you enjoyment. No, it's not limited in production. The Rake might be for you. That takes us to the blade shape. I actually really like the blade shape on the Rake. Has a lot of belly. It has an unsharpened swedge on the top, and it has a really precise tip. All of those things are great. It does have some jimping on the top, although I would say it's moderate in its traction capabilities. Not super awesome. It's not horrible. We've seen a lot worse, even from, I don't know, favorites like Benchmade. But it's okay. It is a composite blade from Kershaw, and I think originally they were using another steel, but this one is CPM, not regular D2, but CPM D2 as a cutting edge, and it's made it to 14C28N, which is a good fine-grained stainless steel all-arounder. We've talked about it lots. Now the D2, the CPM version of that D2, is I don't know, much better than regular D2? I did a little research and I came up with a quote from a Ed Tarney from CPM, and he says this. He says it gives you a more uniform microstructure, which we know that about CPM steels. better polishability and maybe slightly better fraction resistance, but it's going to be pretty much the same. I'm talking about CPM D2. There you go, see it marked. By the way, this version here, check that out. It has like a double stamp on the tank. Oh, maybe it is collectible. I don't know, man. That's pretty cool. That's like a double stamped coin, isn't it? More special. This one's engraved. 1780 CB, you can see that. Copper between the two metals as they're formed together on that composite blade, which Kershaw really does a nice job of. Does it give you that much improved cutting performance? I don't know. I haven't really hard tested it to know. It is cool looking. I do like D2 overall. It will rust on you. Be careful. Probably even this CPM version. The blade belly is phenomenal though, and in your EDC roll you might just really fall in love with it. How about the speed? The speed on the Rake, like we see from pretty much all assisted opening Kershaw's, is excellent. I would consider this primarily a flipper design, fellas. Because that thumb stud, which is terraced, doesn't have any Wizard of Oz or volcano issues, meaning that it will provide traction to you, is somewhat occluded by the handle. See that? So you can dig your fat in there and get it going. I recommend you just use the flipper tang right there. Get that sucker out. Very fast. Let's check up block. Yep, tight, no up and down movement. All of that is good, and there's your adjustable pivot point, one side only on the 1780 Rake. That's great. The strength, I think, is great for a liner lock. You can see how much will lock on that rear of the blade right there. Stainless steel liners in the G10 handle. There is some attempt to mill them out. And when I put this on scale, I was a little bit surprised on how heavy it was. I mean, I looked inside, I was like, man, it feels like this thing is not milled out at all. It is. I wouldn't say super aggressive. You can see there's a little patch of milling there. Another one there. This is a Quark AA squared doing lighting duties. I don't know, man. I'm surprised it's so heavy. Handle material, medium traction black G10. We've seen it 1,000 times in all kinds of knife makers, not just Kershaw. In fact, we bring this trimmer back. Let's compare the two, because these are actually two different price point knives, aren't they? In the lineup there at Kershaw. Yeah, different steels. I think this one is U.S. produced right here, overseas produced. This is a lower quality of G10 compared to the Rake. This has better traction, nicer, not as deep, and the trimmer does not. Again, consider the price points. There you go. Tiny lanyard hole in there, right? I think the trimmer's was even bigger. Maybe not. No big deal. A hollowed out 550. You can jam it through with a paper clip or whatnot. The handle bugs me. It just bugs me. It's just, for my size of hand, it doesn't work for me. The drop down right here, either in forward or reverse grips, it just doesn't work for me. On the good side, no sharp corners on that. It does have a Zytel spacer in the back, so it's not an open pillar constructed knife. That might add a little bit of the weight. And there's your standard clip. That's the same one we see on the Skyline, and I like it. That's a good clip. And if we look in the catalog again here, I love how they show all their clips and they give it a name. That's a J clip. There you go, right there. If you can see it. Not that it matters for anything. Secured by 2 screws. It does carry pretty deeply. There's only a short section of the knife showing. And it is positionable, at least on this side, one side only, for either tip down or tip up. Carry your choice. No issues with the clip. I do kind of wish it was blackened a little bit. Minor issue. Holds good. I've always liked that clip on the Skyline, though. Enough said. Ergonomics, we pretty much discussed them. Okay, it's pretty much boils down to too short of a handle for me. I think the durability will be fine as long as you don't drop it tip first and smack that tip off. That will be an issue. The D2 cutting edge could be more brittle. It is, I don't know, I don't even want to call it a stainless, maybe a semi-stainless tool steel on that edge. I think the lockup is tight and solid, durability-wise. It could probably classify itself as a hard-use folding knife. Everyday carry knife. On to value. This is interesting. Around $75 depending where you go. I've heard of guys scoring it for $65 or so, the Rake, model 1780. Early in 2011, this was a very difficult knife to get. I suspect it's going to be very easy to get now. I did click around and there's lots of suppliers that have it. Look in the upper right. If you do like the Rake, you want to go get it, go there in the upper right and you'll score a good deal on it if they have them. I don't think this is going to be a good knife for Kershaw. In fact, I think it's going to pretty much flatline in sales. Sorry, Kershaw, this video may help that, because for that $75, you could go out and buy yourself a lot more capable knives that are going to be lighter weight, more capable in many other POUs. Why don't we roll in the Cold Steel Voyager Large? Bad deployment there. That is a great knife. Great knife, and it's going to be like less than half the cost. Voyager Large is going to be 5 ounces. Yes, it has AUS 8 non-composite steel, AUS 8A to be more specific. $35 though, this knife. And in my tests, it just rocked. Great handle, decent clip, perfectly shaped blade, full flat ground, nice finishing. I would choose the Cold Steel Large Voyager over the Rake any day of the week. You want to go higher end? How about a Benchmade Bone Collector? I think this is a 150/30 version. And this is, I think, around a $75 knife as well. Isn't that a cool looking handle, by the way? Look at that. Isn't that just awesome? This is a D2 blade, too, and this is another reason I'm rolling in. Oh, first production, 250 of 500. That's cool. Yeah, D2 blade. Would you carry this over the Rake? This is also a chunky knife. It's 6 ounces, and it is thick to carry. So is a Rake, by the way, in my estimation. I would probably carry the Rake over this, to be honest with you guys, if I'm just doing it for EDC use. How about this one? Blast from the Past. I hope I have it on the table. I do. Benchmade Ascender, no longer available, model 14352 BT. This was only $33 in the day. This is Tactical Doodle's knife he carried in the jungle for years. 9 CR13 MOV, and I don't like that steel as much as 8 CR. It seems like it has difficulty in taking an edge. It's also a first production model. I'm showing you this though because this knife, did I write the weight down? 5.8 ounces, and look at the difference in blade sizes. How about this against the Cold Steel Voyager, which is a lighter knife? There you go. Big difference right there. And then I already showed you the other one that you might consider, and that is the trimmer. Look at the difference in handle sizes. 6 ounces on the left, 5.4 on the right. If you're small-handed, you don't mind a heavier knife. Honestly, I think you may really like the Kershaw Rake. The ergonomics for me just don't work. The weight for me just doesn't work. I think for the type of steel you're getting, that is a composite CPM D2 on the edge, it is a good value at $75-ish. The clip is decent. The speed and lockup are excellent. However, pretty much on the other things I've talked about, it is a miss for me personally, and that is my review on the Kershaw Rake Model 1780. Thanks for watching.